chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello, welcome to part 2 of the Goals Overview this week. So we're going to your questions in a bit. Just want to say a few things in this one. So obviously De Silva has left. Someone just reminded today. Mixture of reasons we obviously don't know, but came in, did all right, very well at the start. 4 or 5 games. Then people sussed him out, lost form, lost effort, played out of position. It's not always fault. And he's been poor last month. The last one came on to show pace, but he can't dribble past the man. He's lost that kind of thing. Anyway, doesn't help when you're, whether he's just got fed up with it completely. Don't blame him, to be fair. It's pretty poor. It's not a nice place at the moment, I can imagine. So that's happened. Obviously, and I also want to talk about Gary Outsign last night. I was pretty fed up. You're angry, you're protest, but apparently his claims of the stewards want to send that to the police of the girl who was holding it and all that kind of thing, a season ticket, and that's just absolutely shocking. If that doesn't ring alarm bells to every Torquay United fan, but the propaganda, I know that's like a funny word to use, it generally is. When Southend had their own sign, which they've got a right to do, and I don't blame them, I'm backing them for it. But they're allowed, because apparently it's preaching hate, saying Gary out. Now, if that was saying Gary and then swearing at his family, and then saying, I hope you, wishing ill health on something, might have a bit of a point. But when that's saying Gary out, because we're fed up of his football, and then Southend are saying stuff like that, but I guess it's not, it's not.
Hey, there's plenty of abuse aimed at the referee all game, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot worse.
If you're taking people out for abuse, then you can kick out half of the pop side.
You can kick out the whole stadium.
Yeah.
So that's shocking. That is just sums up the stewards, the club, everything. I better not say all this because they probably poison my food next time I go in there. Don't want to go into propaganda. Happy shiny people. I said that as a bit of a joke. And the more I think about it, the REM songs, people going around happy. Yeah, we're not in a relegation zone, gaffer at all. Everything's great. We're talking.
If the stewards think it's bad now, imagine if we do get relegated.
Oh.
It was all very calm, wasn't it? There was no aggression or no love.
No, it's just a calm thing, like Gary out.
It was a very tame sort of moment, so there's no reason to get out like that. You just deal with it and get on.
I walked past it and I was too fed up to even and I was like, now I make stands. I was like, oh my god, it's just shocking.
Are these same stewards who at Derby completely disregarded all their safety, get off the yellow steps malarkey? They didn't care, did they? It sums them up.
It just as soon as your football club becomes as soon as it comes we're customers, we're not fans, which has clearly been for a long time. It's a joke.
I hate the fact it's had to come to that, and fans have felt the need to do it. But that's them free speech, isn't it? It's up to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and everyone, and it's just unbelievable. This club, it's just one thing after another. I hate it. I hate my evenings there. It's not just because of football teams. I don't feel welcome there. It's go Buckland, it's starting to really put me off football in general. Like I go Buckland and just feel welcome there. I'm like, I just want to stay here. The food's, everything about them, the food, the night of the people, so everything about it's just. I'm not saying people at Torquay aren't the people that do the food. I'm saying everything about the club is lovely. It's like a family club. You want to say that's what Torquay used to be. It's absolutely diabolical. Your experience at Torquay, it's not fun. And last night was like a nail and coffin for me. Really, I don't know how many of them I have left in me. To be fair, it's absolutely shocking. And then you go on Devon Live today. Gary's the man to take us forward. Why won't the local press actually? I know that's a section from Gary Johnson to say no, I'm the right one. Why don't the local press or anyone actually ask questions of GI? Why don't the local press actually help the fans out for once? Why is everyone sleepwalking this club into just nothing? There is nothing. Like everyone's saying, "Oh, enjoy the club while it's there." We all know it's going to go. It's dead already. It's absolutely dead. There's no life in that club. You sit on the terraces. It's nothing at all.
There's no life in the press, Sam. Absolutely no life in them either.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it died at Ashton Gate, of course, but I don't. It's just nothing. There's nothing to get excited about. The football is shocking. You assembled a terrible team. We've got a head of recruitment who watches more of our games than he does other games. We sign a bunch of the Southern Premier standard, a lot of them. Don't care if the budget's cheaper, it's still not good enough. You can't tell me it's as bad as Nicholson or Paul Cox.
Mhm.
And then you've got just a manager who can't improve him, a manager who he's done great stuff. He's great at developing a lot of players, but they've got to be a certain level. He's never been in a relegation. He's never been a firefighter, Gary Johnson. I'm pretty sure in the CV, a lot of it, or he's not done it much. As soon as he's a great manager at making great players very good. You know, look what he's done to Armani, little players with potential like that. Sean McDonald.
Is he a great manager anymore? It doesn't seem like it.
No,
to me.
it doesn't. But I want him to get the best out of his limited squad. He's made them worse, and he signed them in the first place. And then so that's all that. But look, Cheltenham, he did a great job at Cheltenham. They sacked him off as soon as he's near relegation zone because it clearly just comes a head loss for him, and he can't deal with a running cycle of defeats. He can't change it. I have no idea. I have no idea what his game plans are. So, in fact, and then Jonas, we all know what's going on there.
The whole club's in a big bubble.
The whole club's in a bubble. What's going on? And people need to wake up. People need to actually stop going, oh, Gary's the best manager job. Yeah, he's got great ability. Might be all gone now, but era's changed and all that changed. Stop sleepwalking around. We are done. We are absolutely like finished. And I don't know if there's a better manager out there, but we're going to the National League South if this rot carries on anyway.
How can you watch his post-match interviews and think he's still the man at the moment? He's got no enthusiasm.
Kevin Nicholson pulled off what he's done with a worse, well, I don't know, probably it must be a worse budget for a start. But he pulled off two great escapes. You know, he drove the bloody minibus. As far as I'm aware, Gary Johnson and Darren Downs, they probably live in Bristol and Cheltenham. I know that's a personal thing, it doesn't matter. But he's not driving a minibus. I'm not saying he has to, I'm just saying. And if that a rumour that the away coach has to go to their houses to pick them up on an away game is true, then that's just a bit weird, isn't it? You know, I don't know football enough and if that's normal practice, but stuff like that, it's just not the right move anymore, clearly.
What Nico managed to get eventually during the season was a siege mentality, didn't he?
Yeah.
He spoke to fans. Supporters really wanted.
We were going there for him and his lads. They weren't a good team. They're a terrible team. A lot of the players were awful. And you look where their careers went afterwards, apart from your couple, that he did a good job with. And we went there because we still thought my Torquay United is going under. We're going, what is my Torquay United now? I don't understand. It's rubbish. I'm absolutely done with the club. Not just because we're losing. Well, I've seen them lose my whole life, basically, apart from a good few seasons. But it's just the fact we're going through the whole Owers thing again. It's a lot worse.
Yeah.
People telling me, oh, no, no, Johnson's the right man. And yeah, fine, have your opinion. Fine, but see what's going on. Why is he not saying anything against GI? Is he just happy to take his money to the end of the season and go, no?
Yeah.
Is he just happy to kind of is that why he's not saying anything? What's going on?
I was rumbling along at the moment, isn't he? Rumbling along and just hoping nobody questions him too much, and nobody is. So he just grumbles along, and he said he was going to think about his future, didn't he, the next couple of days? But there's no questioning. There's no questioning from the Herald or whatever it's called, or Torbay Weekly, because they want him to do his weekly blog, or they want to be able to talk to them. They don't want to question him about anything. So how would you know? So
it's pathetic, really, isn't it? It's pathetic how the media and everyone within the club is just pandering to him now. We've won 7 league games all season out of 33. He said, "Judge me after 10 games." We were bottom of the league after 10 games, and he's still here. I appreciate everything. Yeah, he should have gone in October, really, and I still maintain. I think that Derby draw kept him in the job. I really do. I really do. I expect so much better under a Gary Johnson management. I mean, Gary Owers got sacked for a lot less than what we're going through now. It just angers me that
Gary Owers did get a decent team. Gary Owers signed better players than Johnson as well. Die on that hill. Apart from Chris Regis, you're getting Jason Banton. But he died. He signed better players. It was just a very similar season.
It was a very similar.
It's very similar season though. Yeah, that squad should have never gone down under Owers.
A lot of loan players. A lot of players used.
No manager will keep this. I'm pretty sure no manager will keep this Torquay team up because it's shocking. It has no central midfield now. Lapsley's injured. De Silva's gone. De Silva's not a world beater, but he was a number. We need numbers right now. What are you looking at? McGavin and Hanson midfield, McGavin Evans in central midfield at Aldershot the weekend. That's Southern Premier League standard at times. They can't put a foot in between them.
If you look at all the other teams, they're investing in their squad, aren't they? Apart from Maidstone, other teams.
Where's that Derby money go?
Other teams are getting new players in, aren't they? They're throwing a few. A few quid at it to try and make things happen. Our squad is we've got less numbers. we've got less numbers than we did in October, November, I think, because they had those loans in. We don't have Goodwin anymore, who's one of our better players, do we? We had Wern, who was a bit hit and miss, but you'd still have him now, wouldn't you, if you had the choice? So we've actually got worse as a squad. Our mentality probably improved a little bit in the new year because we won a few games. But
and I like to just point out players like Phil Jones, like Phil Jarvis, you're probably the best striker, unless I'm missing on obvious, since Rennie Howe. I would say Danny Wright. I love Danny Wright, because at the very end of his career, he couldn't keep fit for a lot of it. I think Jarvis has a bit more. I absolutely think Aaron Jarvis is such a good national league runner.
Yeah,
he's such a good National League striker. Now he's getting his confidence back. Such a good striker in a terrible team that doesn't create anywhere near the chances for him.
What I'd love him to be able to do is work with somebody like Tim Sills, because he could teach him a few tricks, because I think that's all he lacks. When he gets the ball, he tries to be a bit too clever with it. Win the foul, move the ball on. He just needs a bit more training. But
of course,
league striker, he's fast,
so
he's strong.
Good. I love Aaron Jarvis. Absolute no competition now for player of the season.
He's the only player in the squad who'll probably go up the leagues, isn't he?
Yeah. And you can see why he was signed by Luton Leeds 18 from the basis though. And then Lapsley, he tries his best every game. I mean, last season he wasn't our stand-up player. He had some good spells, because we had footballers like Armani Little and Atal when he was fit.
Yeah, we didn't need him to be brilliant every game last season.
We have to rely on him to be a 9 and 10 out of 10.
He was tired last night, Tom. He looked tired because he put a lot of effort in. Tuesday, Tuesday, isn't it? He always struggles with those, and we knew it was coming. We need Asa Hall back.
We need 2 central midfielders in.
When you're counting on an injury-prone 36-year-old to come back and save your season, things are desperate, lads, aren't they? Things are desperate.
So, some of these lads, if they put in half the effort that Lapsley does, would be a great start. Lapsley, he puts the effort in it every time I see him. He's just running around. I'm surprised he's not injured more often than he is. There's just, we're carrying too many passengers, and the good players that we do have, unfortunately, aren't enough to compensate the absolute dross that we've got.
Lawrence,
the rest of the team.
Nico Lawrence must look around the place and go, God, they make football look difficult, don't they? Because he makes it look so easy. He can run, he can, he's quick, he's strong, he's pretty talented.
He's got a bright future.
Makes Football it look so much easier than everybody, doesn't he?
Football League, like League 1, League 2 at least. Obviously, it's like
I think.
He'll be. I reckon he'll be in the Championship in a few years.
I think he'll be in the Championship. Yep.
I said that about Joe Lewis, and that hasn't quite worked yet. But yeah.
But I think the scary thing is, you look at your Jarvises and that lot. Should we get relegated? And I do say should, because it's still, as Chris mentioned, we're only 4 points.
Stay around. How many?
Stay up. Are we going to have the likes of Lapsley stay? No. Is Jarvis going to stay? Probably not.
Even if we stay up, I don't think they will.
How many more rebuilds does this team need?
Pay the bills, these people, Sam, haven't they?
And they moved down.
He's a family man, isn't he?
They moved down.
Yeah.
Lapsley's been here for 2 years. Maybe if we stayed up, he would, because he might be.
Tom Lapsley loves being here, and he loves the club. But you've got to pay the bills, haven't you? And he couldn't go down to our league, and we'll be offering less compared to what he could probably get. So you can't, can't expect these guys to stick around. So yeah, all in all, very depressing. Very depressing.
And I think that's my round. I think I've covered everything. And I'm not getting that people who work at Torquay United and individually, there's some hard working people and the local press understand what it is, but just it shows the propaganda of everything that's going around. It's just owned. Everything's owned by the club.
Read the room.
Read the room. For God's sake. Anyway, I think that's.
I don't think anyone's prepared that Gary was going to fail at Torquay United.
No plan. There's no plan in. It's we've got Gary Johnson here when the
short term. We got Gary. He'll get a few players in. He'll sort it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right, Tom. Your moment. You're very good at reading these.
Here we go.
Right, so we're on to your part.
Yes, so we're on to the questions now. So thank you very much to everyone who wrote in this week. We've got 2 questions. One was on our Facebook, and another was on Twitter. So we'll start with the Facebook question. One that we've asked many a time on Talky Talk, but one that needed to be asked again after last night's disappointing response. Gary in or Gary out? 20% said they are Gary in and 80% Gary out. And that seems to be quite a common theme, especially sort of post-Christmas, really. It seems like there's that good 20-30% of supporters who still...
They're welcome to that. I'm not.
I think it's the fear, isn't it?
It's
the fear of who else
we remember the Nicholson to Owers 36 days.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is. I don't think people are saying, "Oh, we know he's the best man for it." We just don't know who they're going to get, and it's the fear, isn't it? But that's how we're going to run the club. You never change managers. We're just.
And Craig Hughes commented, "Thank you, Craig." He says, "I just don't see how he can stay in the job any longer with the way the season has gone. Awful tactics, consistently, game after game. 13 games to go. If we change manager, we can at least say we tried to resolve the mess, to try to stay up, keep him, and we are sleepwalking closer and closer to the National League South." Thank you, Craig. To be honest, mate, I don't think it matters what we do. I still think we're heading one way, and that's down to the South, whatever we do. I don't know what you guys think.
Trouble is, if you get a new manager in, they've got to have time to get their own tactics in place. You might get a bit of a bump, but still, it's a tough process. I mean, what is there? 13 games left.
Yeah.
I mean, there is time, but he'd have to be a bloody good manager, wouldn't he?
And again, it is only 4 points, I suppose, but
they all keep winning.
Again,
we're a top half team. Other teams will start winning.
Yeah.
Keep winning.
And then we go on to the Twitter question. A very interesting question, I think, and we had quite a lot of involvement on this. So thank you very much. 284 of you voted on this. We asked, who do you blame the most for our dreadful season? And there were four choices. We had Gary Johnson, the owners, the players, and other, because, you could look at maybe the other Johnson. So very, very close between the top two. So the
Torbay beast. Sorry.
The Torbay beast.
The what?
A Torbay.
You've not had a Torbay beast burger.
Sorry, Tom, carry on.
So 38.4 of you said that the owners are the ones that we should blame the most. Closely followed by Gary Johnson at 37.3%, so only 0.9% between the owners and Gary. 18.7% said the players, and 5.6% said other. And I think I agree.
That's reasonable, isn't it?
I think that is very reasonable.
Yeah.
We had quite a few comments, so thank you very much. Johnny Jones, he voted for owners. Gary Johnson doesn't turn into a crap manager overnight. Budget was blown on Ashton Gate, and we've been feeding off scraps ever since.
It's a good comment. I don't know, I mean, no one knows, but how much of a lower, but it still shouldn't be, like a relegation team budget.
I think we all had that feeling, didn't we? Chris said it, didn't he? Leaving Ashton Gate, you thought was at the moment.
Yeah, it's
was
gone,
that,
I didn't quite think it would be dramatically this bad. I thought Gary Johnson would have a plan.
I think it's the fact we've not got these people on long enough contracts, have we? So we got no money in for them.
Money.
There was no contingency plan, was there?
And the ones we have got money and pay money for is Ryan Hampson. And then we've got Brett Moore.
Great signings. Mark Hurst says the manager has done little right from the start. He was saying the players must prove they are good enough or I'll get new ones. So he didn't fancy them even though he signed them. But not only did he sign mediocre players, he built an unbalanced squad with them.
Yeah, it's true. If you get a budget, you think even if it's like the worst budget in the league, which it evidently isn't, you go, right, I need to still make a balanced team that gives me a hope of getting something out of something. And he didn't.
Yeah.
You need players who are strong and can play all season, didn't you? You got to build your team around those. We haven't got enough of them. I mean, and not getting any decent wing backs in when your system is 3-5-2.
I prefer a balance
right from the start.
A balanced substandard team from like this league below, even just so you've got a bit of balance, you can actually try and build them. If budget's really that bad, look at players like Felix and Shory Johnson, not good enough. You could say, of course, we want. But then they were versatile and you can actually put them in your squad. We've got worse players than them too now. And they're very good National League South players, I'd say. Their standard is get more of them. Like these lads aren't National League South players, some of them.
They're not. We've got at Scorepoint 12, he says all of them. And there were quite a few of you that actually said all of them. So
it's not helpful though, is it, for our content? I agree with you. But it's not
it's
like
a
helpful.
Poll, people. It's a poll.
Yeah, it's a poll.
I agree with you all, but
Stop sitting on the fence, everyone.
Yeah.
Richard Heasham, says all three. The owner never says anything or speaks to the fans about the situation we are in. Budget must have been cut, and Gary's recruitment over the last 2 seasons has been shocking. Again, despite being told he's backed by the owners, the players just didn't seem to be accountable. And that's
Very fair point. I agree.
hard to disagree.
Still a big one,
Rachel, Rachel, happy birthday for the other day, Rachel.
Yeah,
Sorry, the
nice
football
day,
and the
yeah.
cricket let you down. She says the owner clearly couldn't give a flying fig as he'd addressed the poor coaching setup and results months ago. Gary Johnson's hidden behind the low budget excuse all season, but plenty of clubs with lesser budget still get a song out of their squads, relying on his brother to recruit. Dismal. Thank you, Rach. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one as well. Ronnie Tompkinson says players were recruited by Gary, but then it all stems from the owners. Zach says loans haven't helped, but ultimately the recruitment is poor. Crow, Marshall, Wyatt, McGavin, Donnellan have been really poor. 2 years recruitment's been so bad, and that's on the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Off the Line blog says a combination of the lot. I'd include other as well. The coaching has been disappointing. Aaron Downs has to take blame. We've come up against sides with lower budgets, but they look well coached, organised, and compact, and that is the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
agree. That is the difference. One
Yeah.
thing's being bad, but the next thing is actually trying to make the most of how not being as bad.
You get people. You get a small squad organised, don't you? You find an identity that works, and you can run with that, can't you? You don't have to spend. You don't have to spend loads of money to have a decent squad. I mean, I'm sure we've got a better budget than a fair few in this league.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just we
Lazy.
can make a lot of excuses for what he's been
lazy
given.
Recruitment.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
be this bad, should it, Sam? It shouldn't be this bad.
No. A bad season would be like 16, 17.
Yeah. A few more. We got John Keane who says definitely something not right to go from where you were 2 seasons ago to where you are now. I've always liked Gary, thought he was a great manager, but I think his time has come to leave.
Mm-hmm.
We've got George who says both as bad as each other. I'm guessing he's talking about the owners and the management there. Bob Bamber says selected other as I'd vote for both Johnsons. Don't think Gary has become a bad manager, but 2 years of poor recruitment has cost us. That's quite a fair comment as well.
Yeah.
Harrison Fawn says all. Harry Go Lucky says the team isn't relegation quality, but the football we play is. Poor communication and game management have cost us a minimum of 5 points in the last week. At 1-1, Gary Johnson should have been on the touchline demanding his players keep their heads. We didn't. We rushed. They scored.
Yeah. We're still throwing so many points away this season. Like we're a bad team, but we still should be like 18.
It's the giving away goals off the stoppages. It could be at the start of the game. It could be after half time. It could be after they've scored. I don't know what happens. Yeah, we implode, don't we? We implode.
Yeah. Couple from Louis. He says his first one is Chris Todd in, and then says both owners and management are to blame. Tom says all three. Nige Howell says other piss poor recruitment of players that actually play above this level. We get dross. Chairman doesn't give a toss. No investment for years. Saw an opportunity to nab the ground. Bristol all over again. We've got John Joyce who says most of the fan base remains deluded. It's incredible that he's still in a job, though we know why. He should get a free ride. Said this months ago, but got shut down. Torquay should be a sustainable football league club. To be playing regional for the second time in 4 years is a criminal act of negligence.
Agreed.
And we have one more from Ferrari Lover who says all of the above. The owners have provided a Mickey Mouse budget. Johnson has used that to recruit Mickey Mouse players, and well, they're Mickey Mouse players. Keep Lawrence if we can. Keep Laps. Keep Jarvis, and F off every single one of the rest of them. Thank you very much to. Yeah. Thank you very much to everyone who voted this week, and some interesting comments there. Don't sit on the fence though, most of you. It's definitely it's easy to say that it's a mix of all those, but to sort of break it down to one to blame the most, it's a difficult one, and I had to really think about that for a while, which one I would have gone for, and I did go with the owners in the end.
Oh, Johnson.
I know
I hate the owners. I can't stand what the owners are doing to my football club, but at the end of the day, the budget probably wasn't horrific, and either way, you've got to recruit smart. And if you're not up to it, go away. Like just find someone else who will take that challenge on, and give it a better go and more structured go. Be smart. Why you live with 30 years in the past your recruitment. Oh, he's had an alright season. Just be smart. Have an idea what players you want to sign for a start. Think, all right, we're going to have that sort of squad. Bring them in. You know, just work. Oh, it's how you can go into a season with such an unfinished squad. That's a disgrace. Even for the Barnet game, you're going in and you've got 2 or 3 left backs in the squad, no other striker. You've got 2 strikers alone as well.
Who are you blaming, Dom? Who's top of your hit list?
God, it really is a difficult one between those two, isn't it? Yeah, maybe just Gary, perhaps, because I think the main thing for me is he said the budget was fine at the start of the season. If he's saying it's fine, he's got to take he's got to be accountable, isn't he, most?
I put it in a real world example. You're working at a bit of a dodgy company, but they're still giving you a budget. And then the manager's brought in a load of employees who are not good enough. He hasn't made them any better. In fact, he's made them worse. Who's going to get in trouble then? The manager. And the employees have been bad. So, and it'll all go back to the manager. Just look at it in a real world example. That manager could have done great stuff in other companies, but if he's still doing bad in that one, he's still going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
it's just obvious, isn't it?
I just don't think he can make players better like he used to. I think his tactics are outdated.
Yeah,
I think his methods have moved on.
It's right to admit that, though. Look at the amount of good managers that were great 10, 15 years ago, from the Premier League to.
I just don't think young players look at him and go, right, that's how. Yeah, that sounds good.
I reckon the old set did, because that call that we kept over COVID from the National League South and that they had the Gary Johnson trust. It's pretty obvious he's done a bunch of players. Probably after a couple of months they've gone, nah, I'm not on the same wavelength for this guy. And the new players, as soon as you have the momentum of that, new players coming in, it might be good for a couple of weeks, month, even like De Silva, but after a while they'll start.
But do these players want to play the direct long ball football? Or is that just Gary talking? You know, I mean, players these days, young players come up through the levels. They probably play better football in the youth teams. They play passing football. They come here. They're told to lump it 40, 50 yards to striker.
To a 5'8" striker.
You know, run off of it. Work hard. You know, get your scraps. It just looks so old school, doesn't it? Unfortunately, last night, the first half, we did so much of that, and then we started playing some football in the second half. But
against 3 units at the back for Bromley, Munster and the other team.
I mean, Topi, you said, didn't have a good game, and he didn't have a good game, but it was lumped to him about 5 or 6 times. The guy was all over him. I mean, I don't know what you expect to see. You know, he wants the ball into space, something he can run onto at least, or ball to feet, but. You know, I mean, if the direct football never works, then we finally played some football in the second half. But that's maybe because Bromley had gone back into their shell a little bit. We're letting us have the ball, so it's you got to play the football when the game is 0-0, when the game is there to be won, not when you're chasing it.
Yeah, we got to stop chasing games. It's killing us. We've got to get ahead in these games, and we've got to try and control these games. Yeah. But again, I'd love to see the stats, how many times we've fallen behind in games. It must be nearly half the games we play, probably more than that.
Oh, at least, yeah.
It's so poor. And I think the start thing for me was how low the crowd was. Not that I was surprised the crowd was so low last night, but it did make me wonder that could be a high attendance next season if we're not careful, if things go wrong. And we end up in the National League South, and we don't get ourselves kicking in that division. It's scary, and of course, we all want us to get out of danger. I'd hate for us to get relegated, but if we're going to need another 5 or 6 wins, I just don't see where we're going to get them. Bromley. To be fair to Bromley, they've had a good run. I think they've only lost 2 in 16, so it was going to be a tough night, regardless.
I like Andy Woodman as well.
They're a proper tough team to break down, but. I don't know. You see it so often now this season. We try, but we're just not good enough to break these teams down. Or if we are, we give them away into the game and give them the points. So.
Teams like Bromley know who they are, don't they? They have a settled squad year after year.
They've got an identity.
We say we want to be a league team, but we'd have to try and just settle into that routine of being a mid-table, settled squad. You know who you are. I think that's the best we could
You
hope.
get mid-table, no, you are, and then one season it will just go a bit right, and you'll be back in the playoffs again. That's why your Suttons have come out of nowhere like that. That's why your Bromleys will. It's a matter of time, I think, once you get Wrexhams and Notts.
And
this will be up there as well soon.
We said it at the start of the season, didn't we? This is a rebuilding season for us.
What a rebuild job that was. Last season was meant to be the rebuild season.
But Dom, I'd appreciate it so much if you could, ask the tough questions and not, pander to Gary Johnson in your post-match interviews. That would be a huge help.
Yeah, that made my night, that comment.
I didn't realise it happened actually, but somebody on Twitter, for those who don't follow Twitter, had actually accused me of being up Gary's arse with the questions last night.
I mean, an interesting one.
That's the Dom you want to be asking the hard questions.
So I have gathered together a few questions I would ask Gary, so we could go that to finish if you like.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Go on then. Got a few. I could have gone on forever actually, but we haven't got too much time.
Say Gaffer at the start.
Maybe this could be a weekly session.
Hey Gaffer. Question 1: why do we continue to try and play direct football when we are no good at it, Gaffer? 2: why is centre-back Marshall on the post rather than marking on a corner, Gaffer? 3: how come your side cannot concentrate after scoring a goal, Gaffer? 4: why are you spending so much of your time shouting at the fourth official rather than concentrating on the game, Gaffer? 5: why are your players not improving with your training methods? 6: have you got any enthusiasm, energy, and ideas left to keep us up? It doesn't seem like it at the minute. And a final question: you said you were happy with the player budget at the start of the season. Do you still feel the same now?
Good questions. I like that.
Those are questions, aren't they?
We'll go into predictions. Are we playing Aldershot?
Aldershot and Solihull.
6-1 we beat them. We're Solihull midweek next week.
Next Tuesday, isn't it?
Next Tuesday, great.
You're just a bundle of good news, Dom.
Double header.
I should know. Are we home or away?
That's a proper National League double header, isn't it?
Are we home or away? It is. Are we home or away?
Away.
We're away.
Good enough to go. What's the score at home? I don't remember.
Well, the Aldershot one.
Solihull thrashed us, didn't they?
4-1, wasn't it?
4-1, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that now. Yeah, it's all a bit of a blur. All right then, I'll go 2-0 Aldershot. And Solihull Moors haven't been that good, so I'll say only 3-0 Solihull Moors.
You teased us in there, didn't you? You little monkey. Tom?
Well, I was also thinking 2-0 Aldershot, but I don't want to go the same as Sam, so I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1 Aldershot. I do think we'll score, but
Jarvis probably scores.
And as for Solihull, I mean, I know I said 4-1 in
They've been very poor, don't they?
Yeah.
Solihull.
Yeah, but our record against Solihull's terrible.
Sunday league, so
I'll go. Do you know what? I'll go 3-1 to both. 3-1 to the home side for both.
2-1 to Aldershot. Then Torquay somehow beat Solihull 2-1 for their gaff. There you go.
Wow.
That is a
Chris will say 2-2 and 2-2.
2-2. I think they'll lose, but I can't predict it. So I'm saying 2-2. There you go.
Right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for joining. I don't know how many of these I have left in me. I don't know how many we go. I come straight from
the company's good though, Sam, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't even get changed out the work stuff yet. It's not on formal. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So Galaxy, if you're watching Galaxy, renew us for next year.
Yeah,
we'll still go.
Yeah. And we'll do one of the funny ones next week. We'll do a watch along, which isn't a watch along. It's a watching me get annoyed.
You love it.
Wait, Tom, will you be with us?
Yeah, I think so.
Don will be, won't you?
I guess so. Yeah.
Cheers. And then will Chris be here? We get Chris here. We could have all 4 of us. That'll be even more chaotic.
I can't believe you could have a go at me. You just said, I don't know how many of all these I could do.
No.
I say I might not join you for Tuesday night. Yeah, get the bums rushed.
I mean, I don't even speak to you. I just have my headset off because I was so annoyed I kept having it spoiled last time.
Just spoke to your dad for most of the time. I was a spare part, Tom. So
I need to think of a system. I need a system because where I can. We'll work on a system. Work on a system where I know Dom's talking, but I don't want to hear what he's saying because I just had and I was like, whoa, I wonder what's going to happen here then. The Torquay goal? No. But
can I be as drunk as I was at Dorking?
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Yeah. Can I have more meme reactions of me just going like that? Anyway, right.
Sam Goldbridge is a go.
Goldbridge, yeah. I want to bring that back. Right, so we'll see you probably Wednesday or Thursday next week. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Up the Torquay.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benjamin. Sells!